guys and gals, and welcome back. In this video, I am hoping to help somebody with their decision on fitment on their 13 Gen F-150. My F-150 is a 2018 Lariat four-wheel drive, and it has Bilstein leveling kit with the 6112s in the front and the 5100s in the back. My 6112s are set to the highest setting, which is about 2 inches of level in the front. I went with that because originally what I had was 17x9 wheels with a -1 offset with 285/70 17 tires from La Schwab. And with that fitment, if I was to turn my wheel, I would rub harshly. So I needed to get a leveling kit, which at first I went with the kind of just quick $200 kind of just spacer kit, and then I upgraded to the Bilsteins eventually. So that's what led me into getting the Bilstein suspension, and I can talk about the Bilstein suspension in another video, but right now, to kind of stay on track, we're going to talk about the wheel fitment. So with my 17x9 fitment that I had before, I really loved the way it looked. However, periodically I look at my truck and then I kind of think about like how the truck kind of needs a little bit of a taller tire, because just the profile look of it seemed kind of small at times, depending on the angle I look at it. So I would kind of just periodically think to myself, the tire should be a tad taller. Now, one thing I want to do with my truck is I want to make it street functional. So what I mean by that is when I drive my truck, something that I always look for is a tire that's not going to take a big hit on gas mileage, a tire that's going to be equally as comfortable, a tire that is not super expensive, and also have the aggressiveness and also the toughness to handle any terrain within reason, of course, because this is mostly a street truck and this is a daily driven truck, which is why I always think about those things. So with that being said, in order to upsize, there is multiple ways I could have upsized. One of the upsize options was go to a bigger tire. So go from the 285/70/17 and jump up to a 305 or a 315, or get some 33s or 35s, right? But what that is, that pretty much eliminates my idea of what a street setup should be. It shouldn't be such a hit on how the truck feels. It shouldn't be a hit on the gas mileage, not that much, right? So getting a bigger tire wasn't really something I was looking into. Also, I wanted to bring the tire in just a little bit because I felt that it was poking out just a little bit too much past the fenders. It was about an inch, maybe 1.5 inches past the fenders. So what I ended up doing after going and looking at 18s and looking at 20s, I eliminated the 20s. The main reason is because of the price. Okay, so the 20s, there's like a substantial amount of money that you spend over the 18s, and I didn't really want to spend the extra money on the 20s, especially the tires. The tires were more expensive as well. So what I ended up doing is I compromised for the 18s, and so what I ended up going with is 18x9 with a +18 offset, and the tires are a 275/75/18. So I went up in size on a wheel, and I went up in the profile on the tire height. So with that being said, this is what it looks like. Okay, so as you can see, I went with the Method MR318 with the 18x9 +18 offset. and I went to Cooper Discover AT3 XLT, which is the E-rated tire, and that is the 275/75 18. And I am pleased with how it looks, because what it does for me, it provides that extra height that I was looking for, and it also gives me that that control and that feel that I also look for when I'm looking at a just kind of a truck tire that's going to suit me for daily driving, no matter where I'm going. So no matter if I'm going to a farm road or I'm on a highway, these tires and just this whole setup, it performs well. As far as the tires is concerned, the Coopers are so good. They're really good in the wet. I'm not even kidding. Like, compared to the Les Schwab tires that I was riding in, these Cooper tires are much more grippy in the wet, which is important because I live in the Pacific Northwest where the ground is wet a lot of the times, especially this time of year. It's December, right? So being able to have that extra traction in the wet is hugely important for me on a daily driven truck. Even when I'm going down mountain passes, like, the wet roads don't really feel like a wet road with these tires because they are so grippy. But let me go ahead and give you another look on what it looks like on the side. Okay. So with this setup, expect to see kind of a flush look in the front fender. And for the rear, it's not exactly flush, but it's pretty close, right? So this is probably the closest thing to a flush look that you can get on your 13 Gen F-150 with this setup. That I went with the 18 offset, mostly because the I think the +1 offset was out of stock, and I didn't know how long it was going to take for back order, and I knew the 18s was still going to look good, so I went with the positive 18, and this is what I have, which I am happy with. I am very happy with. So as far as kind of not a regret, but something I would change, is I possibly would have changed the offset to the +1 just to bring the wheels out a little more. I like the flush, but I wanted it to poke just a tad. Not as much as the old setup, but I wanted just a tiny bit of poke just to give it that aggressive appearance. Over to the other side. See, it's mostly a flush look. Mostly a flush look. So I've been driving on this setup for 2 months, almost 2 months, and these tires have, like, this whole setup, it just looks great. Let me go back. Kind of washed them up just a little bit so it looks more shiny. This entire setup, to be honest with you, it has been great for me. I don't feel like the truck is being held back in any way, probably because the last tires were also E-rated tires. The gas mileage is about the same, but I feel smoother, and a lot of it has to do with the tires itself. The tires are a smoother tire than what my Les Schwab tires were. These are grippier tires, as I explained, especially in the wet. And in the dry, I mean, a tire is a tire in the dry, to be honest with you, unless you're trying to really push it hard. I mean, they all grip in the dry, but really what it really comes down to is the comfort, how it feels, and also like the wet ground gripability. Like, does it have the compound for it? Now, during this time of year, we have not received any snow yet because of the rain. So I can't really say anything about how they drive in the snow, but they are 3-peak snow rated, which means that they should be able to do good in the snow too. But this is it, man. this is the tire setup, and I think anybody who goes with the setup will be pleased with how they look and how they feel. Les Schwab, if anybody knows anything about tires, they kind of use third party to manufacture their tires, which is probably why these tires feel way better to drive on, because these are made by an actual reputable brand, which is Cooper, and not an unknown brand that Les Schwab uses for their tires. But yeah, this is her 2-inch level in the front, 18 by 9s. And pretty flush. With that being said, I hope anything I shared in this video is very helpful for somebody just making their decision, and look to be having more videos coming. I've been gone for a while for the reason because I'm a member of the armed forces, so when I'm out of the country, I kind of stay out of the country for a little while and I focus on what I need to do. So YouTube is something that goes in the back burner, obviously, because I'm not making any money on YouTube. But this is the truck. There's more I could talk about this truck, but I wanted this to be solely focused on a wheel fitment. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you later. God bless.